Sorry, let this chat off. An error occurred. Try again later. Folks, I don't know if you can hear me because it says the stream is open. Okay, here we go. Now I'm getting something. All right, we're trying this. I don't know if it's going to work. We've got severe weather going on and busy weather in the east, and there's annoying feedback. And we are live with horrible feed. Look at that horrible feedback. I'm sorry, folks. Uh, and I found a new satellite loop, by the way, with lightning flashes. All that and so much more. I don't even know where. I don't know what. Uh, okay, now come on, folks.
Folks, if you could hear us, maybe you can put on the chat board what you're
There we
hearing, or
are. There we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to
did
the
you find
Joe and Joe
what's wrong?
Weather Show. I don't know what's wrong after the show today, but apparently we don't. So, you know what? I'm going to put up, here's what I'll do, Joe. I'm going to put up various things and work on this end, and you uh, can talk about what's happening with these severe thunderstorms that are going on while I figure out what in the name of God is happening to me here.
All right. Well, we're going to be seeing some changes over the next 24 hours, Joe. Here at the home base in Putnam Valley, second consecutive day that we have had 92 degrees as far as temperatures are concerned, and that's going to be it. You know, heat wave officially is 3 or more consecutive days in the 90s, and we're going to cut this short by one day. By tomorrow, the temperatures are no longer going to be in the 90s; they'll be back in the mid 70s, and the weather front that's going to change all of this and turn the winds into a cooler and drier northwesterly direction at the moment is causing some showers and locally strong thunderstorms. It's also interesting in that I am literally where I am in Putnam County. I am surrounded almost on all sides by severe weather watches. Nothing for me, nothing for Westchester County, and I don't think anything for Long Island. But if you go to the north and to the northwest or west, there are overlapping weather watches for severe weather, and this activity is in our general vicinity now. Just because you're not in a severe thunderstorm watch doesn't mean that you're not going to see a thunderstorm or even possibly severe weather. That is certainly a potential. That's certainly in the cards for every few hours. And then later tonight, after the front moves on by, we'll get into that drier, less humid airflow, and it'll be much more comfortable out there to be out and about for tomorrow. So we do look forward to some changes in the weather in the immediate future. Ross Niederman on our chat board pointing out that there is a severe thunderstorm warning for Hunterdon and Mercer counties at this moment in time. And we are indeed seeing
Satellite,
some
the
localized.
satellites up there. So satellite loop, and those flashes you're seeing are actual lightning strikes.
Right. That's from Go 16. I was playing with that the other day, and I forgot to mention that to you, that they actually have uh, one of the uh, sectors is a sector that shows you where lightning strikes are occurring, and you can see they are certainly popping, especially from about Philadelphia and points south and west down toward Washington and Baltimore. That's where the big boomers are, and that's where a lot of the vivid and frequent lightning strikes are occurring at this hour. Not so much now all of a sudden up here in the immediate tri-state area. And you could actually see by looking at this particular graphic that Joe has put up, you can actually see the cold front, which again is marching toward the east. Will be moving on through probably in the next few hours, and then putting us in that drier and cooler northwesterly or northerly airflow, and that'll set the stage for what we'll be seeing for these next few days coming up. We're going to cut this potential heat wave short in the bag. Two consecutive 90 plus degree days for much of the area, except maybe for eastern Long Island, where, of course, they're subjected to the sea breezes and they stay in the 60s for the most part. But everywhere else, it's been hot through this entire weekend, but we will see some changes starting later tonight.
All right, I'm going to pop up the radar so we could look at what's going on there. So here we go. Let's go to the radar.
By the way, Joe, it's nice that you've got the AMS seal because you and I both have the seal. So now the guys on television can show off their seals. Why don't why can't we? So
Yeah, no, we
that's very
can
nice.
we can we paid for it.
Right,
So
right.
here's the radar, Joe, and got uh, the active part of the line is going into central New Jersey. I could see the cell that's moving in 100 and Mercer counties, also in northern Delaware, and back toward the Washington D.C. Baltimore area. So we've got one, two, like four severe thunderstorm warnings and a couple of special marine warnings.
Well, Joe, I'm sorry to come in here with this, but now it's not
Um,
necessarily feedback. It's just that there was some distortion or whatever on your voice.
yeah. So I was just saying that there we've got four severe thunderstorm warnings up. The cell's moving into central New Jersey. That extends down to the Washington D.C. Baltimore area. There's also a couple of warnings up in the Hudson Valley east of Albany, along I-90 to the Massachusetts state line.
I don't know who Brutus is on the chat board, a new name, but he is reporting that he or we dropped 20 degrees in about a half an hour and picked up about 3/4 of an inch of rain here in southeast Pennsylvania. So that shows you the potency of this line as it's progressing on eastward. So for those of you who are, you know, hoping to get relief, you will be getting relief very soon once that kernel system passes on through in the next few hours.
All right, hang on a second. I'm gonna take a shot here. Why I don't know. Let's see. I'm gonna try to change my audio output on the fly.
Your fly's open, Joe.
It probably is. One, two, three.
Sorry, I
All
had
right.
to say I had to say that.
Let me mute this up here, and let's see how this sounds. Maybe the echo will go away. Did the echo go away? Nope, the echo did not go away. So that
Steve Lapointe says Joe Chiaffi turned up your volume. Turned up your volume?
that should do it. Yeah, I'm back. I'm muting mic sources left and right. This is what happens when I'm the technical director here too, and trying to do five things at once. Let me just turn that off. So go ahead. I got the NAM up.
Well, okay. Actually, is this for the present time? Zero, or close to it, 0Z or
Yeah, this is.
18Z or
I'm gonna roll it back. Just waiting for all the images to load. Uh, okay, so yeah, this is from
all
the
right.
18. This is the
Just
18.
just
This is the
just take a
18Z.
just take a deep breath. Everything will be fine.
Yes.
No no major no major concerns here. Uh, as I've always said, technology, technology, technology. All right. So uh, we see, the cold front, as I said, is going to be moving on through during the next few hours. And behind it is a nice dome of high pressure, fair weather system. Although the interesting thing about this high pressure zone, Joe, the thing I've noticed is that although it is a fairly, you know, significant zone of high pressure, it's moving in the wrong direction. It's moving up toward southern Quebec, if you will, and that eventually means that the winds, which initially are going to start out of a north and northwest direction and help to bring down the dew points and cool things off, with time, as this high slowly moves to the north and east, again up into lower Quebec and eventually into the Maritimes over near Nova Scotia or the Gaspé Peninsula of Quebec, Canada, the winds will turn out of a northeasterly direction. And what that means is that it'll begin to scoop up some Atlantic moisture, and that's going to translate into some low hanging clouds, particularly so along coastal areas, along the coastal plain on Tuesday. The further north you go, especially on Tuesday, the brighter the skies, the more sunshine you're going to receive. But from I maybe it might be something like from 84 or 287 on south, you're going to be seeing more in the way of cloud cover, again because of the northeasterly winds that'll be blowing because of that zone of high pressure. Over the nation's midsection, we are going to be seeing quite a bit of rain occurring or shower activity. In fact, anywhere from, I would say, Wisconsin and Minnesota straight on through Missouri and Arkansas and down into Louisiana by the time we get to later Tuesday and into Wednesday are going to be quite wet with rain and shower activity from a warm front that'll be out there in the
I
nation's
I just
midsection.
switched to the GFS.
Okay.
Well, anyway, yeah, this is where the flash flooding for parts of the Gulf states. In fact, WPC's got some pretty big rain amounts from the central Texas east to western North Carolina on the order of 2 to as much as 4 inches in places. And yeah, running up the Mississippi Valley on up through Iowa and Minnesota with the amounts tail off a bit, but still an inch and a half. Not much here in the east, and this includes Friday, where we've got the next weather front that's going to come through toward the end of the week. So between whatever we get convectively now and whatever we get convectively with the cold front late this week, only amounts to about a quarter to a half an inch, a bit more in inland spots in Pennsylvania, and then of course it really picks up when you get to from Virginia on south. Now back to the GFS. And we could talk about the
It's
memorial.
really, it's really, well, no, I was just going to say, it's really amazing that that Southwest, it's as if there's like an invisible glass dome over it. I
Yeah,
mean, California, Nevada, Utah, Arizona, a good chunk of New Mexico, still very, very dry. And there are places out there, Joe, like in Arizona, Lake Powell, um, that are as low as anybody has ever seen them because of the fact that they've had this lack of any precipitation. Now, you want to move on to the holiday, the impending holiday weekend, getaway day on Friday, and of course, Memorial Day weekend coming up next weekend. One thing we are certain of, absolutely certain of, is that Memorial Day weekend this year is going to be a heck of a lot better than last year. Last year, if you remember, low clouds, areas of fog, mist, drizzle, temperatures barely making it out of the 50s, in fact, near 50 in some spots, a cool, dank, dreary, cloudy, miserable Memorial Day 2021. This year, 2022, well, it looks like we'll kick off the weekend on a good note, but whether or not we'll be able to hold on to dry weather, let's say through Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, that's still about a week away, and so there's still some uncertainties there. But whatever we get next weekend will certainly be a lot better than what we went through last weekend,
I'm
last
thinking.
uh, last year Memorial Day weekend.
I'm thinking so much that I'm speaking twice. Um, this next upper trough at the end of the week is going to be a little sharper and a little more negatively tilted. So we might have with this next front that looks like it's now going to come through maybe late Thursday, sometime Thursday night. There's enough troughing there, I think, that we might have another episode of severe weather risk. And then uh, the only question I have for later in the weekend is that we do set up with a bit of a backdoor type situation to the north, and whether that backdoor front stays to our north, which is what the models are implying right now, or does it drop southward? The GFS makes it a close call. I mean, you look aloft and you think, we should be in the midst of very warm to hot weather again, but the low levels are a bit different. And I'll just check it on the European here. And the European to me doesn't really. The upper air doesn't really tell me too much. Let's just look quick at the surface. Uh,
Now, of course, the 18Z is only out to about 162 hours, which takes us to Sunday, the start of Sunday of next weekend.
yeah, the European does not have the back door. I mean, it barely can find it. It's very weak, and it's up north of along or just north of Boston, northwestward up into Vermont. So long as that doesn't decide to drop down at the last minute, which the DFS was implying a day or two ago, I think we're going to be fine for the Memorial Day holiday weekend. It should be. It could wind up being dry right through because after that front goes by, there really isn't much to speak of as far as precipitation is concerned. And the only other thing I'm going to say about the long range is I had these up before. Let me see. I didn't. No, they're still there. Good. So I took a look. We were talking about this the last time we were on Thursday. The NAO is going to come crashing negative uh, right around June 1st or so, and then goes almost one standard deviation below the mean. This is on the mean ensembles. There's a lot of half the members are slightly above it. There's a bunch of net members below it. There's a couple of members that get down almost two standard deviations from the mean. And the PNA is another thing I was looking at. That actually also is going to come crashing down from positive to negative. What? Wait, hold on. That's the NAO. Here's the PNA. I'm sorry. No, I thought the PNA was positive. That's why I thought that strange. Yeah. No, the PNA actually bottoms and starts to turn slightly higher, but it's still negative. I'm wondering. I'm wondering if we've got a negative NAO and you've got a negative PNA going on. Is this going to be a recipe for um, of potential severe weather certainly across the south, and I'm wondering about whether we may have a stretch. The other thing I've observed is we actually, if you look back over the past springs, Joe, I think we were having a number of severe weather events quite early. And as we start approaching and going into June, if that continues, it could get quite hairy when it comes to thunderstorms for the month.
Yeah, yeah, and of course, it'll also be depending upon whether or not we have the percolating effect, whether or not and it looks like that may be the case. In other words, we may see even into the June spell of unseasonable warmth. And of course, we know that thunderstorms just love
Months.
that kind of weather. And we'll see whether or not we'll indeed have a propensity of seeing more in the way of severe weather as we move on into the new month of June. Can't believe I'm saying that already, the new month of June. But June is right around the corner, another 8 or 9 days, and uh, certainly it certainly felt more like July out there today with the extreme heat and the moderate level of humidity. So, have you hit 90 yet down there? Of course not.
Not yet. I got to 84 today,
Yeah.
and we had a couple of downpours too. So, you know what? I think considering the issues, which I thought we got rid of, we checked them after the show before. Apparently, we did not. So, I think we're gonna let's cut it short now. And now tomorrow we're going to attempt this at 5 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm going to contact His Eminence Terence Cardinal Fitzgerald, who's really good with the software that I use, and maybe he can help me figure out what's wrong.
I'm sure he can. He'll just what he does, what he used to do when we worked with him at FiOS One, ladies and gentlemen, is he'd walk in with his royal purple robe. he'd look over everything and he'd just like
and his
wave his arms,
and his who was
and
in and
magically,
and his who was in Whoville hat. Don't forget that.
that's true. That is absolutely true. So we'll see. And when do you think we can get Miss Miss Brittany on here?
Oh, I'll
Or
have to.
she's shy, I guess.
Well, these TV people, you know how they are. They're very difficult, and
Yes.
very hard to manage. So, I could certainly reach out to her, and we'll see what we can do. But Joe, and we've talked about this. They are reticent to come on because their bosses think they're going to get themselves into trouble, and I don't understand that, but that's fine.
We thank Leon Probitsky for hitting super chat. I'm trying to read what that. Oh, number one. Thank you, Leon. Thank you. There's a fox on his super chat icon, Joe, and it's a fox, and he's holding something, and it says the fox is writing on the piece of paper number one, and that's of course a reference to you and I'm
Uh,
sure.
yes. Thank you, Leon. Most appreciated. Okay, so 5 o'clock tomorrow. Joe's got some late library talks to do, so we're going to go on at 5, and then we're going to figure out this. This might be well timed if you go take time off, because maybe I might just do the same, because between everything that's happened to me today, everything technology wise, my websites are down. I can't log into them. I'm locked out. Can't get in. Can't get into the back end. They got unlocked. As soon as I logged in, it says you're locked for 8 hours, because apparently something is going in there and doing multiple logins at the same time. I don't know. They might.
And as I told you, when I was away in Antarctica, how many times you hear somebody say something like that? When I was in Antarctica in December, we actually did a few shows from down there, but that was because I was 3 hours ahead of you. So in other words, um, it was easy enough. Like for our 11 o'clock show, it was like 2 o'clock where I was, so there was no problem there. And I could go on at, let's say, 10 o'clock at night or 10:30 at night while you were on at 7:30 Eastern time. The problem here is I'm going to be west of you now, and I'm going to be 3 hours. I'm going to be in Pacific Daylight Time, and so I might be doing stuff with Mrs. Rayo at 4:30, let's say, or 5 o'clock, and that's when you would be normally on the air. So it would be difficult for me to join you in a show. And I said maybe you can get Bill Goodman, and that's why I'm also asking you. Maybe you can get Miss Brittany on, or Addison Green, or somebody. You got to have a whole slew of guest co-hosts next week, or maybe you just want to say, heck, if Joe's taken off, this Joe's taken off, and we can
Well,
we
we'll
can call
see.
it quits after
Uh,
tomorrow.
if I don't get my stuff prepared it's by Tuesday, I'm liable to throw everything out the window. But I'll try to remain calm.
Okay, all righty.
All right,
What more
folks.
can I add to
Again,
that?
sorry for all the issues. We tried. I, I'll keep trying to fix this. This has been ongoing for a while. So this one, I think I've got everything a-okay. This Gemini's in retrograde to Libra. This is always, always, always a problem for me. So have a great night, everybody. Thanks for the super chat hit, Leon. Thanks for your patience, and we'll see you tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern time.
Nighty night, folks.